So this is my story of a tweet that had more far-reaching consequences and effects, I think, than anyone had anticipated at the time. And a little bit of background for you. I live on the north shore of Lake Superior and spend a lot of time playing outside. I love this area, and I love to share what it has to offer with other people. So back in August 2011, I was spending the evening on Twitter, and my family was watching television, and I saw a tweet come across from CogDog, who I had been following for some time at that point. Someone who's always challenged my thinking, and I'd followed his antics to Iceland and learned a lot about Iceland while he was there. Interesting fellow, and it said amazingly that he was headed in my direction. He was in Winnipeg visiting other people that he'd met on Twitter and was heading east towards Ontario. And it was just sort of inquiring as to what kind of things he was going to encounter along the way. Well, this was my place to share. And so I sat down and wrote a fairly comprehensive travel guide of what it was like from Winnipeg right through to Thunder Bay. And then sent it off and really didn't think much more of it. And next thing I know, I'm on the CogDog blog. It's almost like being famous. And he was incredibly appreciative of the travel guide. And in fact, suggested that since he was going to be in the area, why don't we meet up? Well, that was pretty exciting because I felt like I'd already known him for 3 or 4 years, even though we never actually met face to face. And so we set up a time to meet in Terrace Bay, where I was working at the time, and we were going to have lunch at the local Italian restaurant. Didn't think a lot more of it until I got to work that morning. It was actually my last day at that school. I was moving to a new school. So I was meeting with the new principal, and I was quite excited because at noon I was going to go down and meet Alan Levine, and didn't really think of it at the time, but what do you say? What do you say to somebody? I had to, include her and invite her for lunch because I couldn't just walk away and leave her there. And so how do you say, well, why don't you come with me for lunch and meet somebody that I met on the internet? Didn't sound all that professional. So I told her the whole story. I said I felt like I knew him already, and maybe she could come along as my bodyguard. So we got to Drifters early and kept watching the door, and I think Drifters thought I was auditioning to be the new Drifters greeter, because everyone that came through the door that looked something like Alan Levine, I got up and said, hey, hi, welcome to Terrace Bay. Eventually, the right person came through the door, and we recognized him right away from his photographs. And we were able to have a really nice lunch, participate in some of the storytelling that he was collecting from his trip around North America, connecting all of the people that he knew from Twitter. And we had a great conversation about what it's like to be a principal in Ontario and some of the crazy things that we've encountered over the years. So he went on his way, and I have to say that from then on Twitter, it's a whole different thing when you can put a face to the tweets and you've had some conversations together. But about 4 months later, we were going to be heading down to Arizona, and he tweeted me and said, why don't you stay at my place in Strawberry? And I thought, wow, that would just be absolutely awesome, but how do you explain that to your family? This is a guy I met online and he wants us to come and live at his house. I don't think everybody's ready for that yet. But I've been very fortunate to have spent more time with Alan at Unplugged, and lots more time collaborating since then. And so it has a fabulous ending, and I love this project that you're doing right now, Alan, and thanks again for letting me be part of another one. It's been great knowing you. Take care.